Installing Unity is pretty straightforward, but it can still be a bit daunting when you see how many versions there are. You might wonder if you need different versions for different things, or if you need totally different installations for 2D versus 3D. Well, for 99% of people, you can just use the most recent LTS version, and I'll show you exactly what the whole installation process looks like. Okay, so first we're just going to go to unity.com, and you can just go to Products, Unity Engine, hit Get Started. And then you have 3 different versions here. If you're a student, maybe you can make use of that. Otherwise, just click Unity Personal. And you can look down here at the steps. You can get your Mac or Linux versions here, but I'm just on Windows, so I'll just do that. And once it's done downloading, you can just click on that, hit yes, then hit I agree. You can choose whatever destination folder you want. I'm just going to keep the default. And the hub installs pretty quickly. It's the actual engine that's going to take a while. Okay, we can just run Unity Hub. Okay, so here you'll see projects. If you are new, you won't see anything in here. We want to go to installs. You can see I have this version right here, 2022.3.29. That's the current version I'm using for the game I'm working on, and I know there's a more recent version. Also, you'll probably get a shortcut. I like to keep mine up here. Okay, so you're going to go to Install Editor, and you can see that's version 44 on here, not 29 like I already have installed. So just hit Install. You have all these different settings. If you don't have Microsoft Studio, Visual Studio, or Visual Studio Code, which a lot of people use instead of Community, both are great for C# script editing. So I would recommend getting one of those. I use Community. And then you have Android build support, iOS, tvOS, visionOS. Most people won't need these, but if you plan to build for phones, it wouldn't be a bad idea to install these right now. tvOS as well. This probably won't apply to most of you, but it's worth mentioning. Linux, Mac, Windows, why not? Just get all those. And then you have language packs. You probably won't need most of these, but they're so small that I'm just going to include them anyway, just in case. Documentation is very important. I would definitely have that. Even if you're not new to Unity, you're probably going to be looking at documentation regularly. So once you're done with this, just hit install. And then you just have to wait for all these to download and install, and then you should be good to go. And while we're waiting for this, one very important thing to note is that you should really not use more than one version for a single game. Whatever one you start with, you should stick with that version unless you have a really good reason to switch to another version. Updating or going to a previous version, either one, can cause some pretty major issues, so if you can avoid it, then you should. Alright, it's just finishing up, and you can see that it has a green check mark once it's done with something, so we're just waiting on WebGL to finish. And there we go, so now that's complete. And you have this version right here, and you should get a shortcut on your desktop. Put it there for some reason. And you can stick that wherever, of course. And so if you want to use this now, you go to Project, do a new project. Then up here, you can choose which version you want, and that's all you need. And as for which type of game you want to make, that'll determine which of these you use, and that you can look more into, or I might make a video about it later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to help me go full-time, subscribing goes a long way. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.